Okay, so you've got some old videotapes from the 80s, and some of them, maybe that have special memories on them, have ended up at one time or another caught in the VCR. So by the time you get it out of the VCR, you know, it's either pulled out of the cassette or you had to cut it to get it out. So in effect, this is what you end up with. But you want to now get those memories off of that videotape. So back in the day, they used to have these splicing blocks for mending videotape. Well, these were kind of scarce to come by back then, and they're really hard to find around now. So we're just going to make one. So what you do, you get 2 3/4-inch pieces of wood, put them on a backboard, nail one to a backboard. Then the next one, you will nail down the width of the door. To open up the door, you just push this little button on the end. The door comes open. Put that down. Slide that up, the board up, and then nail it down. Okay, on these old splicing blocks, they had these pegs in here that the tape would wind around and then come down into this tape trough here where the splicing occurs. So we're going to duplicate that right here. What we do, we drill 4 holes like this in the same direction as these pegs. 2 straight down and then 2 kind of at a 45 degree angle. And then when you're done, you take some pencils and put some little eraser heads on them and stick those into the holes. Okay? So this is what you end up with. And the tape comes around like this. Now for our splicing block, what we do, tape a piece of cardboard down to the board, or glue it down with hot glue. Then you make a line at an angle, and the exact angle it doesn't matter exactly what it is, it's just so that you have an angle for the tape to cut. Okay, to make the tape trough, to lay the tape into, take 2 more pieces of cardboard and draw a line, and then glue 1 piece down with hot glue. Okay, so we drew a line on the piece of cardboard here for one edge of our trough. So we just put a little bead of glue down and put our cardboard on. So since this is a VHS splicing block we're making, it's 1/2-inch videotape. So you can just take a ruler, measure a 1/2 inch on each end, put a mark. Same thing, take a little piece of cardboard, run a little bead of glue down along we just position that at 1/2 inch and then set it up, just push it down. Okay. So now we've got our tape trough. Now we're going to make our cutting slot, and that is right here. We just take a ruler and just mark right over the top of that. That's where the cut's going to go. Take a razor blade and be real careful about this. Put it right on the line. Push it down. And you might even want to take some pliers and use pliers to do this. Okay, using a pair of pliers, we just push that blade down into the cardboard. Okay, to be sure that this blade will cut down into this bottom piece of cardboard, you can kind of go ahead and hold it on one end and then just tap it with a little hammer, and that'll push it down into that other cardboard. I'll tell you right now that if you use a hammer on the back side of these razor blades to cut this notch, chances are it's going to loosen up when you pull the thing off. The protection on the top of the blade is going to come off. So just be aware of that. You can use a knife or whatever you want to cut this slot, but I like to use the blade because that makes it a nice clean cut. Okay, so we're ready to do this. So you grab our tape, open the door, push that little button in on the side, set the tape down in the slot. Okay, then usually the tape is all mangled up here, right up here. Okay, so we want to get rid of that. So you put it down in the splicing block, and then take a pencil or pen or something and push down in this little hole right back here in the back. There's a little lever in there that releases the tape so you can pull it out like this. Okay, you want to pull out enough tape, of course, to get rid of all this mangled up stuff. So do that on both sides, pull it on out, pull it around, get enough of it so that when you cut it, all that bad stuff is cut off the end. Our tape in the trough, got our blade, we just put that back down in, push down, then take this piece of tape and just pull up on that side, and it cuts off right at the blade. Okay? Then we do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so grab the tape, we bring it around our pegs. This here still needs to come out a little bit, so we're going to pull a little bit more tape out. Okay, bring it around our lineup pegs and into our trough. Same thing here. Drop the blade into the slot, hold it down, pull up our tape, cut just the way we want. Okay, if you don't get a clean cut with using the razor blade, you can just use a pair of scissors and snip it at the same angle that you have your block set at. So if you just cut that off, you get a nice clean cut with a good pair of scissors. Okay, if when you put these two pieces of tape together, you've got a gap like that, or it's wider up at the top, and these pieces aren't fitting exactly correctly parallel with each other, then you got to recut this because you don't want any tape adhesive sticking to your video heads. So it's very important that this cut is at the same angle on both sides. Okay, what I've done on my splicing block, on my homemade splicing block, to hold the tape down when we get ready to put the splicing tape on, is I've just cut a couple of little pieces of cardboard, 1/2 inch, to wedge in, just a little bit over actually, just to wedge in, to hold the tape down in place while I put the tape on. Now, to put the splicing tape on, and you can watch our video on how to make splicing tape for VHS tapes or movie film. These are homemade splicing tapes, but they work just like the professional ones. And you just lay it down in there over the top of the splice, and like I say, make sure that this is a perfect matching cut here. And you lay your splicing tape down and pull out one side, push it down, and and then you do the exact same thing on the other side. Another way to do it though, because sometimes this tape will move if you don't have it pinned down. That's what we use these for. But if you want, you can do one side at a time, and I often do. So what you do is you take your center of your splice, you put that over the end of the tape, just so it catches the tip of the tape, and you pull your tape out. You push that down. Now half of your tape is on here, right there where the splice comes across. Now what you can do if you don't, and this is a good way to do it actually. Go ahead and take this tape that you're splicing on, and just line that tip up, and you can eyesight it sometimes closer than you can by trying to get the tape to sit down in there perfectly. A lot of times it'll wiggle around no matter if you have one of these splicing blocks or if you have one of these splicing blocks. The main thing to remember is that when you get done, that this tape is joined perfectly without much gap at all on here. So I've done it this way for a long time. Just put that tip right on there like that, see? Then hold it, hold that tip edge, pull that tape out, put it up, just good as can be. Now if you notice there's a little bit of tape sticking out here. You don't want that. That'll mess up your VCR. And you can just slightly cut into it with the scissors and take off any extra tape that's sticking out. There's a little piece here. We'll just trim that off, and then this tape will be good to go. That's it. Okay, if your splice looks like this, you're going to want to redo it. Okay, if you have a real small hairline crack like you see here, that will probably work fine. It's just anything, any wide gap. You don't want any adhesive getting through and sticking on the video head. A gap that large, it will pass, but nothing larger. Okay, so we've got our splice done. Now we just pull our tape up out of our splicing block. Then, in order to wind it back up, there you go. There's your splice. Now what we'll do, run this back in our machine, we'll show you how it runs through.
Wow, there's your father again. Hey, there's some more there, Gwenny. I wanted it to be in the picture.
Okay, you just watched the splice that we made of my niece and nephew's 1988 Easter egg hunt. The thing to remember is that no matter how perfect you make your splice, there's going to be dropout. So don't expect it to look like there was not a mend in the tape. The point is that you got your tape back in the cassette, and you can now enjoy your old home movies again. Thanks for watching. Good luck to you, and please subscribe to our videos. We appreciate it. Bye.